Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fausto Pugliese, president and founder of CyberTrain University. I'd like to thank you for coming to today's event. And today's special event is going to talk about how to stay out of HFT traps. Now, this is a new event. Added a couple of things that are going to probably be a little bit on the advanced side. For some of you, for the first time, you're going to be seeing certain things that, to be honest with you, it's a little quite disturbing for some of you, what you're about to learn, but I think it's something that all of you guys should be aware of if you want to trade in today's market successfully and make money in today's market, because trading is, in my opinion, the best job in the world. You have the opportunity to trade the market. You have the opportunity to get off Main Street and trade with Wall Street, and and capitalize on something that you could do for the rest of your life. Now, before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to get just a quick little disclaimer for all of you. Just please keep in mind that there's a very high risk in trading, and past results are not indicative of future returns. And CyberTrain University and all its individual affiliates on the site assume no responsibility to trading investment results. Have to thank us for our compliance department. Now we got that out of the way. And by the way, if you want to read more about it, it's on the homepage of our website. Now we got that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to get to know a little bit about everybody here. Can everyone just give me a chat back and let me know, what kind of trader are you? Are you a stock trader, options trader, Forex trader, day trader? What kind of trader is everybody here looking to do? Just kind of get a little bit of an idea. Stock trading, okay. A lot of stock traders, options, futures, okay. Okay, it looks like we have a lot of options traders here. Just a kind of quick little, just kind of give you guys a little heads up on options trading. If you guys want to be good options traders, I just hope you're not making the mistake that most people make who try to trade options. You have to learn how to trade stocks first if you want to be a successful option trader, because it's the movement of the stock that makes the option move, and then you'll know why to trade the options or not. Okay, so I want to cover that. A couple of things. Just want to let you know what we're going to be learning. We're going to learn about different markets. We're going to talk about level 2. We're going to talk about the KISS method, finding stocks, and we're going to talk about traps. A lot to cover. We're going to go a little less than an hour. Cover those couple of things, and then we're going to move forward from there. All right. Now, just to let you know a little bit about myself, I don't know if anyone of you here have ever seen me do a speaking before. I've done your homework. Let me just tell you a little bit about what I've done in the industry. So what I'm telling you, you better keep it very, very open-minded, because I don't want to see any of you fail in the market. And the reason why is because I was a failure in the market a long time ago for one big, simple reason: ignorance. I went out there and I thought I could do it myself. I didn't need to listen to anybody. I thought I could read a couple of books and thought I could pretend to be a financial trader. And also I became a financial loser. All right. So I know here, nobody here would give their money to a stockbroker, a financial analyst, a mutual fund, nobody who didn't go to school to learn how to learn finance. Well, guess what? What do you think you're doing? So if you don't trust them, then obviously you definitely don't want to trust yourself. And obviously no one's going to care more about your money better than you. And that's why it's so important to learn how to do this. So let's talk about a little bit about the trading, how I got into the industry. The picture that you're seeing is obviously an image of a friend of mine that I used to trade back in the old days, being a professional trader, which you could read. A bunch of kids are tormenting Wall Street on the front page of Forbes magazine, and really tough to get on the front page of Forbes. But basically what we were doing is exactly what you're doing right now. We're going out there, we're trading, competing against market makers, because we cannot be a market maker. So what we try to do is we're doing exactly what they're doing without getting the job and competing. And a little bit about when I started, I'm actually one of the pioneers who started back in 1995. Now, I'm not that old. I'm only 42, okay? But I started just as young as the guy you see on the picture. I was 22 years old, did very, very well for myself. And the only reason why I was so successful at trading is because I was trained by the best traders in the world. My father always taught me something and made perfect sense. He says, son, if you want to be great at something, you got to learn from great people, okay? You want to be rich, you hang out with rich people. You want to get in trouble, hang out with troublemakers, but obviously you don't want to do that. But if you want to be a great trader, you got to find the greatest traders out there, and you got to learn from them. And I did. I learned from guys from Goldman, from Merrill, everyone. Now, I was semi-retired at the age of 24, and the reason for that is because I mastered trading, and I was only trading an hour a day, okay? Trading, which you're about to see, is not a full-time job. It's a part-time job. 90% of your time is going to be spent on education, like time that you're doing right now. And that's why we're all here. We're here for that one reason. We're here to learn how to trade. Now, the things I'm going to be covering right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand something. It's going to be very, very disturbing. It's very disturbing in a way that you have to understand something. You are trying to beat the smartest people in the world. And we all know we can't beat them. But what you can do is you could join them. And that's where the word respect comes in. If you don't respect who you're competing against, then you're not going to be very successful at trading. And let me kind of tell you a little bit more about that. I don't know if any of you know this, but I am a 12-time champion. I beat every single school in the industry. Everyone. At the Money Show and Traders Expo, I don't know if anybody's ever been there. I've also went to Paris. I also went to China. Competed. I beat everybody in Europe. The thing is this. I felt that that if you wanted to learn from somebody, there's no better person to learn from a champion, and I went up to compete against everyone, and I beat everybody. And how I was able to do that? Very simple, because I was trained by the best people in the world that trade, okay? Now, if this is something you want to do, if this is something you want to be trained, if this is something you want to make a career out of it and be very, very successful at it, well, that's what we're about to talk about right now. So, what you have to do is, if you're sick and tired of giving your money to somebody who doesn't even care about your money other than their own pocket, I mean, we all heard about these Ponzi schemes, the Madoffs, and, you know, all these crazy things out there, or just somebody just charging you commissions. If you're sick and tired of giving your IRA to somebody, and, you know, because nobody's going to care about your money better than you, well, listen what Clint Eastwood has to say. Sometimes, if you want to see a change to the better, you have to take things into your own hands. And that is why all of you are here, and why that I see that. Well, let me tell you a little bit about what I teach my students what to do. There's something called the 3 T's that I was trained, that my mentors always taught me. And the thing that they trained me is something called tradable, trend, and trap, okay? Before you ever go into a position, you have to make sure that you have the stocks, that there are buyers and sellers out there, stocks that have good spreads, good volatility, okay? Let's think about this. I have a question for all of you. It's a very, very simple question. I need all of you to answer this question. Why are you all here today? Why are you all here? Okay, Dan says to learn. John says to make money. To make money. To learn. The two most popular things people are here for. To learn and to make money. Okay? Well, the thing is this. The first thing you have to learn to make money is risk. Okay? Now, there are over 10,000 plus stocks out there you could trade. You can't trade every single one of them. And the thing that the most important thing that I teach my students before we ever go into a trade, I always teach them exactly what are you risking. Remember, this is a job. This is not investing. Okay, when you go into into your car, okay, and depending what the weather looks like, you know what you should do and what you shouldn't do. You know when to be cautious. You know when to be fast. You know when to drive slow. You know when to turn on your headlights. You know, it's trading is the same exact thing, and I don't think a lot of you realize the importance of the stocks that you're trading. Almost 90% of the stocks that some of you guys trade are what we call not tradable. They're too risky. You're dealing with the best traders on Wall Street. They're expensive. They're fast. I mean, think about it. How many of you guys ever did a trade and like, my God, that stock just moves so fast. I don't know if it's going up, if it's going down, right? Ever happen? Same thing about charts. The second T, the trend. Okay, the trend is your friend. You don't buck that trend. How many of you here actually know how to read charts? Anybody here know how to read a chart? Yes, Anna, this is being recorded. Okay, I hate to break it to you. I thought I was an expert before I learned how to trade. I thought I was an expert how to read charts. I know every indicator. I know exactly how they work. When I finally kept losing money consistently, and I finally raised the white flag and learned from my mentor, you know what my mentor told me? He says, Fausto, throw all the charts away. You're reading them backwards. 80%, 90% of you are reading them backwards, and believe me, I was one of them, and I'll tell you at the end of the presentation. And the last thing you're going to learn is the trap, okay? Now, how many of you have ever felt when you buy a stock, and as soon as you bought the stock, as soon as you bought it, it goes down because you thought it was going to go up? Or how many of you sold a stock because you're sick and tired, losing money, and you just go, or it wasn't doing anything, and then finally you sell it, you go back, you check back, the thing goes up, and you're like, it's like you feel like somebody's watching you, right? Well, it's not that they're watching you, it's the trap, okay? And that was the three biggest things that I was trained by my mentors of what you need to learn. And that's what we all need to do, and that's to learn what they are and not to be afraid of it and realize that there are things out there in this market you need to know how to play the game. Now, you have to remember something. I am a trader. I am not an investor. I'm not an analyst, okay? I'm a trader that is trying to make money on a daily basis. And what I look to do and what I treat my students what to do and what hopefully you guys are looking to do is trying to make a couple extra bucks a day, trying to make the $200 to $500, maybe $1,000 a day, benefit on some opportunities that's going on in the market on a daily basis. I mean, other than that, that's all you're looking to do. But the thing is, you have to learn how to play the game. So let's become traders to trade our money. Why we should let somebody else trade it for us? We could do it ourselves. So let's start with the first thing. The number one biggest mistake that people make. I have a question again for all of you. How do stocks go up and down in the market, ladies and gentlemen? How do they go up and down? Supply and demand. Okay, everybody agree? Can everyone put that in the chat room? Just don't be shy. Nobody's going to pick on you if you're wrong. Supply, just write S&D. Okay, good. Just want to see make sure everybody's is awake. S&D. All right. Now that all of you agree that things are driven by supply and demand, now be honest. And I know that we have some students in here. By the way, if you're a student like Doug Camp and all of you, if you click where it says send to, you can click on all participants so everybody can read the chat, okay? So anyone that's a student, just click where it says send to and just highlight all participants. Now ask yourself this very important question. When you trade, do you see the supply and demand in the stock? Guys, be honest. Do you see it, yes or no? Some of you are saying yes because I know you're students. Look how many of you are saying no. Not really just part of it, Eugene's saying. Okay, so Oscar says, I don't know. Well, ask yourself a question. Why would you trade in a market without even not able to see supply and demand? Think about it. What chance do you have to trade in a market that you don't even know what's going on? You don't even see the supply and demand. You just agreed that things get driven up in supply and demand. Why would you trade a market if you can't see supply and demand? Can any of you answer that question? I'm just curious. Because if I was going to give you my money to trade, because apparently that's what you guys are doing, so I assume you know what you're doing, how would you trade something without even knowing what's going on? Ignorance. There you go. All right. Well, guess what? What is that worth to you? If I was able to tell you, you can see that, what's it worth to you? Is it worth $29? Would you pay $29 for that information? Not 29,000, not 290, 29 bucks. All right. Well, at the end of this presentation, I'll tell you, for 29 bucks, something that will change your life, which, like Doug Tampshes is saying, it's priceless. Well, let me give you a little advice. Here, you'll see a screen. Hold on. Okay. These are your buyers. These are your sellers. This is the amount of shares that people are looking to buy. This is the price they want to buy for. On the sell side, these are the sellers, the prices, and this is the amount of shares are looking to be sold. Now, the thing that I kind of teach the first thing you need to learn when it comes to trading is not a chart. It's not the Wall Street Journal, okay? What you need to know is what you just all mentioned, supply and demand. Because think about it. What makes supply and demand on a chart? Orders. And if you look at this stock, AAL, there's a 71,000 share seller at $29.50. Well, let's think about it. Any of you here know how to read a chart? You ever see, everybody know what a pivot is? Like the support and resistance, the major like peaks and valleys, heads and shoulders, or mainly the support and resistance. Everybody know what I'm talking about? What do you think makes a support and resistance level? That's right. Orders. Exactly. And these are those orders. Now think about it. If you were able to see those orders, how much more of a confidence would you have towards that support resistance level? At least you know when there's a support level, or at least you know if you're going to sell the stock at $29.50 on a chart, at least you could see that there's a big seller out there also, right? So the thing is this. How many of you here went out there and looked at a chart and says, oh, we must be at resistance level because that was the past, right? So if we're at resistance levels now, what is the stock supposed to do? Go up or down? What do you think? Up or down? In theory, it would go down, right? When a stock hits a resistance, it goes down. When the stock hits a resistance, it's supposed to go down. Well, if the stock's going up, if the stock's going to go down, if the stock's going to go down, what makes the stock go down, everybody? Sellers. Okay, so let's look on the sell side. You got a 2,000 share seller, and you got a 75,000 share buyer. What do you think the price of the stock's going to do? Go up or down? But the chart says it's going down. You're saying, guys, it's going to go up? Think about it. How many times have you bought a stock and knew it was at resistance and sold it, and the stock breaks through resistance level? Has it ever happened to anybody? Ever happened to you? Go out there. It sure does, right? Yes. Look at all the yeses, lots of times. Okay? So, Dan, if it happens so much, wouldn't it make sense to know why? Because you have to ask yourself, who really trained you? Are you self-taught, or were you trained by a professional trader? Okay? Well, James, to please explain, explaining is very simple. It's buyers versus sellers, okay? There's a demand out there, the stock goes up. So as much as you think there's a resistance levels, the only way a stock can, is going to hit a resistance level is not from what the chart tells you if there's sellers out there. Think about it. Is that hard? Is that really that difficult to figure out? What do you think? I know, John, it does, but we're not going to be talking about the FF legs in this one. No, it's not. It's not hard. And this is why people lose money in the market. Here's another example, okay? Stock goes up, goes straight down, hits a support level. Now the stock is going back up, okay? Now, the whole idea about the stock going up is having a game plan. Well, if the stock's going up, the only thing that could prevent it from going higher is sellers. And guess what? There's a 7,000 share seller out there, so you better be prepared that if that stock's going to go up, it's got to get past that 7,000 share buyer out there. And then you're wondering, like, why did the stock bounce over here? Well, the reason why it probably bounced and went from 864 all the way down to like $1.60 because you probably had those 13,000, 6,000 share buyers down there, right? Other than that, that's probably why it bounced. Once again, supply and demand, ladies and gentlemen. That is what drives stocks up and down. Who here is trading off supply and demand? Any of you doing that right now? Seeing buyers and sellers, seeing support and resistance levels? Bill, you are because you're a student, of course. So funny, a lot of yeses, and I see the ones that are saying yeses are my students. What about someone that is not a student? Anybody here that's not taking a course at Cyber Trading University? Any of the paid courses? Anybody here doing it? Ron says, I'm trying. Okay. Deborah says no. Mike says no. Bill says, you know, Bill has a no. James saying no. Okay, good. And it's okay. James, Bill, it's fine. You know, Jim, it's fine that you admit that you're not. That's why you're here, right? You're here for one reason. You're here to realize that you want to be in the trading market, and you're probably not as successful as you like, and you're trying to find a better way, and that's why you're here to do it, okay? So the thing is this. If you believe in supply and demand, then obviously this is something that you need to implement in your trading. So when it comes to trading, ladies and gentlemen, as much as everybody uses charts, you need to know how to play the game and know and justify support and resistance levels. So when you're looking at charts and you've been trained by people to talking about support and resistance levels, you know, well, why is a support resistance level? It's not because Mr. Fibonacci said so. It's not because a moving average told you. It's because there are big block orders, or what we call iceberg orders, that are making supports and resistance levels that drive these stocks from going down and are driving these stocks from going up. This is what you have to look at, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions so far about that? Any questions? Before we move on. Just give me a quick yes or no. And then if you have a question, just type it in. No would be perfect. Okay, good. We got one yes. Okay, Robert has a question, so we'll wait for him. But in the meantime, we'll just wait for everybody to just fix something here. There we go. Okay. All right. With a matrix, you know, Ruben, regardless about the TradeStation, I mean, it's a great platform, you know, but I don't like how they do it on their matrix. And if you join me, I'm going to invite all of you to come and join me tomorrow, and I'll kind of show you a better place how to read that. Okay? All right, so now let's talk about ECNs, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but with today's technology, if you notice on Wall Street, there's no market makers anymore. Everything is electronic. You could actually become a market maker. You actually now have the capability of driving your own car. Simple way of looking at it that way. So you can go out there, do trades, you could buy, you could sell, you can compete against all these market makers, placing bids and offers. And how do you do it? How do you do it with what's called ECNs? Now, a couple of questions coming in. What's a better platform to use? Ron, that's an excellent question, and tomorrow I'm going to invite all of you to come join me again. I'll answer that question tomorrow. The best thing to do, Ron, is why don't you email me, let me know who you're dealing with, because everybody here is a case-by-case basis, and we don't show any favoritism to any brokerage firms, but we have a lot of brokerage firms refer people to us, And to give you an idea, I'll give you an assistance here. Let me give you, if anybody has any questions about that, let me just give you my email address. It's Fausto P at ctucorp.com. Why don't you take down my email address right now? Even for Canadians, absolutely. Bill, yes, all iceberg orders are shown on bids and offers. Now, I want you to understand something. Brokerage firms in today's time don't advertise all their shares on level 2, and that's why a lot of people don't like level 2 because it's changed substantially. But there are these things that are called ECN books, okay? And the ECN book is where you get to see NASDAQ and ARCA and BATS. I don't know if everybody noticed all the big news, what happened on 60 Minutes with the HFT trading. Well, guess what? All that, what kills me? All that data is available to you. You might hear people, scare you as individuals. Congress is getting involved, wants questions. The SEC doesn't even know how trading works sometimes. Sometimes I look at them, and I'm sitting there watching this thing on TV pun out, and I can't even believe the exchanges. The exchanges themselves won't even come out and kind of educate you. They're the ones that invented this stuff. They're the ones that are giving you the freedom of speech to go out there and trade the market, okay? So the thing is this. They go out there and do it. Well, Bill, I am talking about the HFTs. The HFTs, what I'm talking about, is what called the high-frequency trades, okay? What you're seeing right here, this order right here, Bill, those 10,000 share buyers and those 6,000 share sellers, those are high-frequency trades, okay? Those are limit orders. That's something we call, that's where the big block orders are, the iceberg orders, or other terms, HFTs, high-frequency trades. Okay, so all this data is available to you. You could read and see all this data. Think about it, Bill. How great is that? How valuable would that be to help on your everyday trading? How much more money and smarter trades would you make a day? But who here is using it? Not many of you. Now, understand something. Market makers, which are brokerage firms, they have a trading department, the trading department of the market makers. They're going out there and they're using these HFTs. They're placing all these orders out there. They're not going to tell you they want to buy and sell. Why do they do that? Shoot themselves in the foot. So they hide a lot of orders behind these HFTs, which is what we call ECNs, electronic communication networks. Now, you are capable of doing that and doing this yourself. That's what's great about trading in the markets. Now, let me tell you what volume makes an iceberg order, Robert, is the HFTs. Robert, the iceberg orders that you see, that's just a word that we use, and that makes it more predominant, a bigger block order. We call iceberg orders. All right, now let's talk about some traps. All right, you know what, Robert? It depends. If you have a stock that's averaging 100 shares and people show thousands and twos, that's an iceberg order. If you have a stock that everyone's showing 1,000 share orders, well, 1,000 share won't be an iceberg. You'll see something that will show like a 10,000 share bid order out there, something like that. These are the things that we look at, okay? Now, the thing is this, ladies and gentlemen. This is where people, let's talk about market maker traps. Now, if you notice, there's a lot of buyers and very, very little sellers out here, okay? And if you notice, there's a lot of transactions going off on the offer, which means people are buying it. They're executing sellers. Now, in theory, that stock means it's going up. A lot of buyers, very little sellers. That means that the sellers are getting executed and the stock's going up. Well, one of the things that I teach my students is market makers play on both sides. They'll be on the bid side and they'll be on the offer side. Have any of you guys ever heard of the phrase refreshing? Ever heard of the word refreshing? Anyone? Okay. That's obviously not a lot. Only a few of you are. Refreshing basically means where market makers will go out there and they'll just sell bits and pieces of shares they want to sell. So what they do is they'll be on both sides. They'll pretend they want to buy it on the bid, which will help them sell shares on the offer. Now, if you look over here on this clock right here, you see it says 15:38. Watch what happens when I change the time. In less than 2 minutes, in 2 minutes right there, look what happened to the price of the stock. We went from 8.16, now we're down to 8.10. Trends going down, still a lot of buyers, very, very little sellers. In theory, you think there's more of a demand than a supply. See the clock right there, 15:40. In less than 4 minutes, now we're down to 8:02. Look at how these people leave the bid. Do you ever go into a trade and wonder, like, why do you think a stock's going up and all of a sudden it goes down? Because everything's telling you between indicators and time and sales and these seat seekers and all these features that these execution companies are doing. And then all of a sudden the thing does the opposite. You know why? Because you were never trained how market makers trade. And how do I know? Because I was a market maker. Think about it. This is one of the best ways of answering a question if you're ever looking to get a mentor. If you're going to read a book, or you're going to buy a DVD, or you're going to take a course, the most important thing you always ask and the person that you're going to want to learn from is the person that's been there all day and all night. Now, here at Cyber Trading University, all our instructors are market makers. They worked on the floor of the exchange, whatever. Who is the best traders, in the market, everybody? Who are the best traders? If you had an opportunity to learn from somebody, who would it be? Market makers, right? So I just want a little advice. If you don't want to learn from me, which I was a market maker, learn from a market maker. So it's something, just advice to all of you. Be very careful who you're playing against and who you're trading with because, once again, they were never taught the secrets of Wall Street, okay? They were never taught the reverse psychology. They never knew about, high-frequency trades, and it used to be called Instinet, okay? All these little things that you need to understand when it comes to trading. Mike Sage to put in that, to become a good trader, you need to get educated, and you will find no better teacher than Fausto. Take the class and make you better. Well, thank you very much, Mike, for sharing that. I couldn't agree more, Mike. Thank you very much, Brett. I really appreciate that. And it was from the students of mine that are being here. So the thing is this, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to trading, you need to know how to play the game of trading. It's not that hard, okay? And a lot of you are going to be spending thousands, tens of thousands, losing and not knowing why you're making. You need to know how to play the game of a market maker. And it's a very simple thing that needs to be covered, which leads me to something called the KISS method. The KISS method is called keep it super simple, okay? Some people have other words, but I call it keep it super simple. Let's look at this example. What's wrong with this chart? Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this chart right here? You got a Bollinger Band, a MACD, stochastic, pivot point. Kathleen says I can't read it. Confusing. But you know what? How many of you here know how to read a Bollinger Band? How many of you here know how to read stochastic? How many of you here know how to use a MACD? And then when you tie it all together, you end up like this kid. How many of you feel like him? And sitting there and waiting, and think that that little magic ball is going to actually tell you what to buy and sell. Randy says me. You know what? I was that one too. So the thing is this. You need to learn how to keep things more simple when it comes to trading. Believe me, when I went out there and I threw up the white flag, which some of you are probably doing right now, my market makers laughed at me. Hey, anybody here got CNBC on right now? Anybody watching CNBC? You notice that they're televising their show, their station is on the New York Stock Exchange? How many charts do you see right now where they're telecasting in the back of the how many charts do you see on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange? Kathleen says none. Look, actually I do see one, but I see about 30 screens right? How many charts do you see? Oscar says 0. So could you guys answer me an honest question? Why are you guys reading charts? Why is it the first thing people think they need to read charts? Why do you think why is it like the most important? If they're not using them, why should you? You know what they're looking at? Orders. And this is what separates from being a successful trader and a consistent failure. And that's what I had to learn the hard way, which I hope a lot of you not going to do the same. Now, the great thing about trading, this is a part-time job, okay? It's the greatest job in the world. I personally could say that because it's a business that's never going out of business. It's only getting bigger, okay? It's better than any job next to a civil service job, I could say today in today's market. Who wants to be a business owner and deal with all the scrutiny and the lawyers and the fines and the taxes, right? Two jobs I always feel that's been the best right now. Civil service job in today's economy, or a trader, or actually being a keeper of an island in the Keys, apparently. But the thing is this, it's a great job. It's a part-time job. You only have to work an hour a day. With that said, you could spend more time with your family, and do a lot more work. But the thing is, finding these things, finding stocks. People always ask me, Fausto, where do you find them? Well, guess what? I'm going to invite all of you to join me right after this event today, and I'll show you where we find them. Stocks that are up, like this one here, ICPT up 276%, stocks like, and then up another 167%. Stocks like Plug up 200%, okay? Stocks like NBIS up 123%. On the day, ladies and gentlemen, some of you, and I know this might sound crazy, be like, yeah, I heard of them, but I never seen it. Yeah, like Powell. I mean, it's endless, right, Douglas? Right, Doug? There are a lot of stocks that are making big moves, even today, I could even point out, and which I'm going to show a lot of you here, stocks that we traded. Let me, just give me a second here. I'm going to share my screen with you. Just give me a second here, ladies and gentlemen. POWR, there we go. All right, so let me go out here and let me just share my screen. Okay, there we go. Hold on, let me open up a smaller screen, something a little bit easier to read. There we go. All right, can everyone see that okay? Bill, you know what? You're right. Futures, probably have a better tax agreement, but, I necessarily don't agree with that in a way that, listen, if you're doing this as a business, you could treat it as a business. You could actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but who here would love to, who here would love to get training for free? Who here would love to take a $6,000, $10,000 course for free? We all would, right? Well, guess what? Do you know that training is tax deductible? Do you know you can write this off as a business? Right? How great is that? So we can all use it. So when you're looking for tax treatments and stuff like that, Bill, there's so many ways around it, because this is not what you're doing right now, and the way I teach my students is not doing something that's more of a capital gain. It's more of a business. All right. So anyway, let's talk about some stocks. You could see right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is my professional trading room right here. And you can see, like right now, a lot of the students, Lee's actually trading some stocks. But I'm going to invite all of you, if you want to join me for my professional trading room. And we're going to look at a stock that they traded. You can see right there, PWR, right there, Power. Let me bring that up. But these are stocks that we trade, POWR. Look at the stock right here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the intraday chart. Okay, at 9:30 this morning, the stock went from $8.80 in less than 15 minutes, a little more than 15 minutes. It went to $9.70. Okay, could you guys just do the math? All right, what is 880 minus 980? Can everybody just do the math on that? 880 minus 980. It's $1, right? If you bought 1,000 shares, that is a less than a $9,000 investment. If you bought 1,000 shares, that's $1,000, right? What is $1,000 times 5, which is 5 days? It's 5,000, right? Times that by 52 weeks. How much money is that? Basically $250,000 in 15 minutes. Who here wants that job? Who wants that job? Of course you do. Of course you do. Okay. Now, did you have to make a $250,000? You know what? If you just got just a little bit, just 20% of that, let's say you only made 20 cents on that trade. Forget about the full dollar. 20 cents. That's still a $50,000 a year salary. In what? 15 minutes? People die to make $50,000. They work 8 hours, 10 hours a day for a $50,000 a year salary. Who here wants to go back to work? So how many of you here are already retired already? You know, and want to make, you know, and Social Security is not paying enough money, you know, or you want to trade your own IRA. I know a bunch of you. I train, so many students like you I train. But what is the big problem? Someone has to teach you how to play the game when it comes to trading. So this is the thing that you have to look at. This is what you have to look when it comes to trading, okay? So let me get back to the slide, ladies and gentlemen, and talk about, I mean, the stocks are endless. You know, by the way, we tweet and text everything that we do. You know, there's a lot of stocks that are moving in the market. There's a lot of things you can make money with it, but the thing is this. If you want to be successful, you have to surround yourself with successful traders, and you need a mentor. But if you're not willing to put the time to learn, can I just be honest with you? Quit your job right now in trading and go back and give your money and put it in the bank at 2%, 1% interest. Give it to somebody else. But please, don't be ignorant and try to learn this on your own. And don't try to read it in a book because they don't talk back to you. Now, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know what your profit goals are. 50 cents, 1,000 shares, 120,000 a year. I mean, it's not hard to do, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now, for some of you, just to let you know, Cybertrade University was ranked #1 school 6 years in a row by Equities Magazine. For some of you that logged in late, I'm a 12-time champion at the Money Show and Traders Expo. Maybe some of you have taken a course with a school already. I could probably tell you I beat every school, so if it is, and if he competed against it in the competition, I beat him. The thing is, a lot of these schools are not traders, okay? I live here in New York. I was trained by the best traders, and I wanted to compete against everyone to prove to you that if you wanted a mentor and you want to do this as a living, no better person to learn than the person obviously does it on an everyday basis. Now, we do training for brokers all over the world, Thinkorswim, FXVM, Lightspeed, Trade Monster. I actually just came back. I did an event with Trade Monster in Las Vegas. That went out pretty well just 2 weeks ago with the Nigerians. Actually, it's on TV right now. So the thing is, these brokerage firms are not in the teaching business, and they're not in the training business. And you don't want to be trained by brokerage firms because because they're highly scrutinized by the exchanges, the SEC, FINRA. They can't really tell you things that they want to tell you. That's why they recommend you to come to Cybertrade University. Here at Cybertrade University, we don't advertise. We don't run any commercials. We're a boutique, exclusive school, and what we do is we get invited to speakings. Most of you have probably seen us do a speaking or have been referred to us. That's just how we do things here at Cybertrade University. Now, how could you start learning today? Well, 2 things. I'm going to offer all of you 2 weeks to join my professional trading room for $29. Now, the reason we have to charge you is for compliance purposes. If you don't believe me, listen, if I can't find you a stock that moves minimum 20, 30% in one day, minimum, call me back. I'll give you a refund for $29. Okay, the $29 is just covering the cost for the webinar technology. The technology used for webinar is very expensive, so we just want to break even on our cost. So I'm really kind of working for free here, because my goal is this: if I could show you and you could see people make money on a daily basis, okay, then at the end of the day, you'll see if it's for you or not. But if you don't want to take the time to make a small investment, then once again, do what I told you before. Don't even trade, because I'm telling you, it's a 90% failure rate. Now, I'm going to do another free event tomorrow, okay? Let me just give you the link. Hold on one second here. So if you want to register for the 2-week free trial, you can click on this. And well, if you're a student, you're already in the course, aren't you? So it doesn't really matter, Dan. Now the thing is this: click on that link. Yeah, and the refund works for everybody. Like I said, you're more than happy. If you don't find a stock below 20, 30%, I'll even give you 30 in the 2 weeks. Email me back and I'll give you a refund. But that's the link for that if you want to register. And your education will start right now. Once you register, you'll be able to get in the trading room right now. And things that, just be honest, things ain't going to pick up until 2:30 anyway. All right. Now, if you just want to come and join me for the free, I'm going to be doing a live trading tomorrow. It's not going to cost anything. It's free. So just click on that link right there, and if you want to register for free, and then make sure when you do register, make sure you call an education advisor, or you could call now and register over the phone. Okay, well, John, thank you very much for sharing that. John is saying, folks, Fausto is the real deal. He knows how to pick, and he picks often. Awesome, because he knows what you need to know to make money to trade. Disclosure, I'm a gold student. And a gold student because he's a full-blown student that I trained. And like I said, the whole goal is this: if you could see me make money in the cyber group room, in my trading floor, and you could see what the students are doing, then obviously, hopefully, you're going to want to move forward with education and let me mentor you, which is over, because this is not something you can learn in 2 weeks or in a month. This takes a couple of months to learn it. And that's something that you need to be very, very clear on. All right, so with that said, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, 2 great packages. You could come and join me tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the free webinar. Again, I'm going to do a live trading demonstration. Or you could join me for 2 weeks right now, starting right now, and getting the trading room and start trading with traders that are doing it with me, including myself, that are in there all day. What's wrong with doing futures? There's nothing wrong with futures, Bill. I like futures. I trade futures once in a while. It's just that stocks are a little bit more easier to trade, a little bit easier to understand, something more popular you see on TV, and something you're more familiar with. But you should learn them all, Bill. You should learn them all, because you know what happens in futures affects in stocks. What happens in stocks affects futures, and even Forex, and also affects into options. So there's nothing wrong with any of those. The thing is, it all depends on what fits your schedule, what you feel more comfortable trading, what you like, you know, but you should learn them all. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Any other questions? Who do you recommend as an options trader for execution? You know, Richard, that is the best thing to do, Richard, is send me an email right here. And why don't you let me know who you're dealing with, and I'll tell you who I recommend. Everybody's different. All right? Do I use them? Very, very minimal, Ruben. It doesn't work for day trading, but it does work for investing and long-term swing trading. The trading room is open from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock when the market closes Eastern Standard Time, Robert. Well, James, like I said, call in. Yes, so we'll be up there within the next hour or so. So don't, but definitely register before, so you can at least get into the afternoon meeting And then and then tomorrow morning you'll get the pre-market trading meeting, so at least you know what's going on in pre-market instead of waiting until 11 o'clock. Well, Bill, regardless of what kind of trader you are, this is a trading room. So this is a stock trading room, not on futures. It trades on stock. If I can't find a stock that goes up minimum 30%, then you can get a refund. Okay? No problem, Randy. You're more than welcome. Thanks for coming. Do you trade stocks that cheap? Dennis, I trade all different stocks, but when you deal with less expensive stocks, you're dealing with less experienced traders, more control. It's easier to trade. At the end of the day, you're trying to make money. That's what you're doing. Bill, we do some swing trading there also, but swing trading is a lot more riskier. When you're dealing with swing trading, you're dealing with overnights, and you could lose it all tomorrow. Very, very dangerous. And if you want to be a good swing trader or investor, you first have to learn how to day trade, because that's what most traders are doing. And that will make you a little bit, will teach you more discipline, more sort of psychology, and all that stuff, Bill. Okay? No problem. Also, by the way, if you click on my name, you see my name up in the panel list. If you click on that little pin right there, that'll also bring up a personal URL, and you can register right from there. All right, everybody, listen, thanks for coming. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We have so much more to cover. We got a lot more to cover tomorrow. So if you want to see and me apply what I showed you right now and put it to the test, come and join me tomorrow at 11 o'clock. If you want to start learning and seeing some of these things that are moving, so like some stocks that we've traded so far today, and to trade the afternoon, register now. We'll get you in the live trading floor for the next 2 weeks. All right? Yes, Alex, it's going to start at 11 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. All right. Thanks again, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow or in the next couple of minutes in my trading room. Have a great day.